trying to...
Okay, yeah, okay, everybody, welcome to a live show with Adrian Leeds. Thank you for coming. Thank you. So, if you guys have no idea, oh, and hello to everybody at home, hello all over the world, wherever you're watching this, thanks for watching. For you guys, if you don't know what you're doing here, I'm surprised.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were wondering yourself. This is Adrian Leeds. She's been on the Earful Tower show, the podcast that I'm run before. She's a real estate agent, property consultant, blogger, expat, beret wearing, TV, house hunters. Have I got it all?
No, but we won't go there.
We won't go there. She wears a lot of hats, often colourful. She's an expert. What was really cool is when we got talking, when we did the first show.
Want this one?
No, thank you, but for you, yes. There you go. That's the switch. So, Adrian, as we started doing the first episode, we were talking about Paris and why Paris, and I realized just how much she knows about not just buying property here, but also you've basically been in all the apartments in the city. Like, I mean, you know it.
I wish.
Well, I mean, when I was thinking about it, because you've been involved with consulting on so many properties, that you just got this extra knowledge of this city, like a lot of the secrets and what it all means. And I figured that's what we talk about, as well as sort of this idea of investing in Paris and whether or not to buy a house here.
Yeah, but you forgot your main question, Alvin.
Why Paris?
Right.
Yes.
Don't you want to go there first?
That's what we're going to start with. Why Paris? And
I mean, most people are interested in that, right?
I think so.
Why Paris?
I think what we should start with is a show of hands of people who own an apartment in Paris. Okay.
Ah, lots.
So let's say
About half.
maybe even half, and people who could maybe one day own an apartment in Paris. So we've seen the future for a few couples there. So what we start with is the big question: is why Paris? Why are people fascinated with this city, especially when it's so expensive? And I'll hand the mic to you on that one.
Okay, well, first there's just the attraction of the city itself, and I'm probably very much like the rest of you. I came here and totally fell in love the first day I landed in town.
With a person?
No, the city. Forget the person. The city.
Okay.
The city became my lover.
Okay, so what? So that's how it started for you. You came here, you fell in love with the city.
Fell in love with the city. Yes.
And is that why everyone's attracted to it? This kind of.
I personally think that people are attracted to Paris because, first of all, the beauty. Second of all, there is a passion, that the French are passionate, and there's just this amazing amount of romantic energy that happens all over town. For me personally, it was art and culture, and just a general lifestyle. Cafe life, the fact that we're the center of Europe, that we can travel just about anywhere easily and cheaply, and but there's something else that's really tough to put your finger on.
You have to put your finger on it.
Well, but I've been asking that question myself for more than 23 years.
Right.
So.
And so this, for people who maybe don't know what you do in property consulting, this is you helping people, maybe like half of the room here, or people watching at home who want to live here. Do you see this kind of fascination with Paris from them that matches what you felt? Is it?
Oh, every day.
And
almost everyone I talk to has the same sort of, I fell in love the day I landed here idea. I don't know why, but then they start coming back more and more often, and then at some point, and this is what happened to me. At some point I said I want to try living here, you know, being here for more than just a week, and ended up never leaving. Just like that.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing actually. But I'm not for 18 years, but I just, you know,
Oh,
you hear.
it will be.
Oh, maybe. Well, that's what you said when we first met, that a lot of people that come here don't end up leaving. Because it sort of grabs you and locks you in like that. I don't know. I want to kind of do another show of hands of how many people thought, I mean, firstly, how many people live here? Almost everybody. Almost. And how many people came here planning to, you know, stay for an amount of time but ended up staying longer? Wow, look at that. So the people watching at home, almost everybody put their hands up twice.
There's just not another city that compares to Paris. I've never been in one. Have you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No,
there you go.
not yet. New York?
No.
No.
Sorry, New Yorkers. Sorry, New Yorkers.
Putting that one for the people at home watching from New York, obviously.
New York is New York. New York is special, but it's not Paris.
Speaking of Paris, taking your relationship with Paris to the next level could be buying a house here. And what we talked about is this idea of investing in Paris and whether it's a good idea or not. It sounds like a good idea, but can you explain if it is or isn't?
Paris is an amazing place to invest in because it's pretty much non-risk.
And when we're talking about Paris, we mean the 20 arrondissement.
I'm talking, yes, I want to talk about the 20 districts, central Paris. First of all, this is a very finite market, so Paris can't really go up and it can't really go out. So what's here is precious, and that preciousness just becomes more valuable all the time. So it's really almost impossible for property to devalue in any kind of a major way. It's gone maybe soft or flat for 1 or 2 years at certain times, especially after the 2008 financial crisis. But otherwise, it's pretty much held its own, and it continues to increase in value. And I have witnessed over the last 20 years that property increases in value on the average about 10% a year. That's pretty heavy.
10% a year?
Yeah. I purchased my own apartment from my landlords. I was renting it. I purchased it from them in the year 2000. It is now worth 5 times what I paid for it. And as a result of that, I was able to take equity release loans, which are like the lines of credit, from the value having increased. I took additional loans and I bought additional properties. And based on a very small amount of initial investment, I ended up with a very huge amount of property value by leveraging. So it can be really worth it.
So the best time to buy an apartment in Paris?
Anytime.
Yesterday.
No.
Hey, take
And anytime. You have to start sometime. You have to start somewhere.
Don't they say, there's a saying, they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Yeah, same thing
You have
with
to
buying
start sometime.
Yeah.
20 years from now, it'll be just like that.
But surely there are risks in investing in Paris.
Very, very few.
What are
well, first of all, the French, as we know, are highly bureaucratic and administrative, and they cross their T's and dot their
A lot of
I's.
people nodding about that one.
Yeah. And they are very risk averse as a culture. So they also have a lot of consumer protection built into the process. So the truth is that it's pretty non-risk. The biggest risk that anyone takes is not getting good professional advice, and that I would say is a big mistake. Other than that, it's pretty tough to make a big mistake.
I mean, how many people here are French as well? I want to know.
Not too many.
10% max? And do you guys agree that France is maybe France is a little bit over the top with the bureaucratic administration stuff? Yeah. So
come on, you cannot deny this.
Wait. What are the people who aren't French? Show of hands if you think there's maybe a bit too much red tape. Yeah. Not everybody though, interesting.
Yes, but the exchange of that red tape is this non-risk situation.
I wanted to talk about flipping over to the foreigners or the expats here watching. What are the things that they're doing wrong when it comes to buying apartments?
The only thing I think they're doing wrong is that they perceive the market here and the industry here like it is back wherever they came from, whether it's Canada or US or Australia, whatever. Because it's not. The system's different, the regulations are different, the way everything culturally is approached is different. And they tend to think they can do things themselves because they have a certain level of experience wherever they came from, and that to me is the number one biggest mistake.
So, I mean...
I think talking to professionals is number one, first thing, out of the box, important.
Do you think deep down maybe you're saying that because you're a professional?
No, because if they don't use me, they should use someone.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing you want to tackle with, is it?
I get phone calls all the time. Well, I bought this property, I did this, that, and the other, but no one told me this. Well, that's because they're not expected to give that information.
What are the kind of things that you're talking about? I mean, I've never bought an apartment, so I'm not...
Okay, I had a client, no, it wasn't a client, it was a phone call from someone. who said, well, you know, I came here, I went to a lot of different agencies, I looked at a lot of properties, I made a decision on one, I bought it, I renovated it, and before I put it on the rental market, I got a notification from the city that it was illegal. Nobody told me that.
What was the illegal part? I don't understand.
The rentals, the short-term rentals.
Right.
But no one along the way, no one had told them that. Why? Because the agent wants to sell the property, and that's not their job. They don't have, it's not their job to inform him, right? Everyone was just getting their piece of the action, and it wasn't important to tell him that from their perspective. And so he was suffering.
Do you find that a lot of foreigners maybe get tricked or feel that they got tricked in Paris?
I'm not sure it's tricked, it's just they come from a culture, my American culture is such that we provide more information than you ask for. But the French are only going to answer the question you ask. They're not going to give you more than that. So if you don't know the question, you're not going to get the answer.
Interesting. That's tough. That's a very tough system.
I mean, we all know this, right? We've all experienced it.
Definitely.
There you go.
It's normal, no?
See?
Says the Frenchman.
But you didn't ask me that.
I think something that a lot of people will want to know is straight up the best place to buy in Paris. The best areas that you can't. I mean, I know you said you can't really go wrong.
That is like asking me what's the best restaurant to eat in.
That's the kind of question I ask any guest on the show.
So let's start.
Should we do
with,
it by like in terms of arrondissements?
Let's just start with goals. First, you start with your goals. If you want an investment property, then you purchase in a particular place. If you want to live there and you want more space, then you might choose another part of town.
So my question is too vague.
Very vague.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's say you want an investment property, something that's going to pay off better than 10%, something that's a hot area to be looking at right now. You've got the whole 20 arrondissements. Obviously, as you said on the show last time you were on, the first 1 to 8, number 1 through 10, I think 1 through 8.
1 through 7.
They're the ones that the central Paris are the ones that are always the.
Central Paris is the most rentable, but we have the rental issues to deal with. But there's more appreciation to be had in some of the outer districts. So it depends on which kind of,
In short, I want a really good return on my investment. Where do I go? What I kind of want is I want you to.
Central.
I want you to tell me the tips that you'd keep for yourself, basically. And I want you to tell these lovely people as well. Just quietly. I want people watching. So
there are a couple of districts that I think are moving quite up.
And when you talk about districts, do you mean arrondissements?
Arrondissement,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm using the English word district rather than
the... But you know what I learned the other day? I'm interested how many people here know this. Every arrondissement in Paris
has its own area.
Has its own 4 quartiers.
Oh yeah.
Who knew that? 6 people, one of whom I told. But every arrondissement
for neighborhoods.
So right now we're in one called, I think it's called Cafe Mericourt, right here. It's a particular quarter, like a quarter, right? So, but sorry, that was a bit of a digression. But I was talking to 2 French guys the other day. In fact, it was these 2 right here. They didn't even know it.
Oh yeah, every arrondissement has its own 4 neighborhoods that are divided very specifically.
But you don't, I mean, there's not even a wiki page in English about that. Like, you only find that information in French. Yeah, I was really interested. Anyway, so when you're talking about districts, you're talking about the arrondissements.
I'm talking about arrondissements.
Okay, let's hear those districts. Let's hear the secrets.
So, for instance, we have watched the Marais escalate enormously in the last 4 years. And the 4th was always doing very well, but the 3rd has really popped over the years, more than the 4th. It's seen greater increases. The next district I think that's really interesting to invest in is the 2nd, around Rue Montorgueil.
Right. Best street in Paris.
Well, yeah, you had that on, right?
I honestly think it is.
Yeah, it's great. I think that it has a lot of potential because it's still very central. The Rue Saint-Denis is changing very quickly.
For the people that don't know, that's the sex.
The gay community's moved in, and now that they're moving in, the girls are moving out, and it's getting more hip all the time, and it's still really central. So I think the 2nd is to be watched.
Scooters are quite noisy.
Don't you have a scooter? Oh no! You're on candid camera.
Okay, the second is growing.
I think the second's really a good place to invest at the moment.
Right. And so, I mean, a lot of people, me included, if I was going to buy an apartment in Paris, there's probably no way I could afford in the second, which is so central and expensive.
Not as expensive as you think.
Oh yeah?
No, because it's moving up. Now's the time to buy.
So if the second is moving up, which are the ones that are like they've plateaued already? Where are the places?
Sixth.
The sixth.
Gorgeous and lovely, but it's the most expensive district, and it's probably going to always be the most expensive district. But it doesn't have as much room for growth. Seventh also.
So we're
Eiffel
talking
Tower.
Eiffel Tower and Okay, and let's move outside. I don't know where you guys live or where you think to live, and maybe we can talk about that a little after questions and stuff. But what about outside of the 1 to 8, which is where is the most populous part of Paris?
Right.
What's sort of moving and shaking in those areas?
The 9th and the 11th are both.
You just stay really central.
No, that's not. That's outer district.
We're in the 11th now. That's pretty central.
No, 11th is harder. There are 20 districts, and this is number 11, so it's beyond the half mark, right?
True.
Okay, logic. Let's just understand.
I know that you prefer the top 8 and to talk about them.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on what your goals are. Your question was
investment
in terms of investment for revenue generating or whatever. But you can get really good appreciation in the outer districts.
And is it kind of, when you start off in the center, is it just like get your hands on anything, even like one of the little chambre de bonne maids' quarters, just get something? Or is it like a lot more difficult than that?
Well, you're going to trade space because of price for location.
How about speaking of space? A lot of people watching as well, a lot of people here, maybe families, they prefer something a little bigger. Maybe Paris isn't so much of an option for those guys, or is that still possible? Are there good areas that people should look around for?
You mean outside of the city?
Not necessarily. I mean, the 19th, 20th are still...
18th, 19th, and 20th are the 3 least expensive districts in the city, so you can get good bargains there. And there are, some really great pockets in those spots.
And you don't... hang on, like what sort of pockets? You take notes for later.
Well... Those districts have both good and bad neighborhoods, right?
No-go zones.
I don't think no-go zones.
Not necessarily no-go zones, but there are some better spots to be in each of those districts than others.
I thought, when I first heard that, I remember people were talking about no-go zones in Paris, the news, and I think it was in America. I thought it was one of those, like there's Soho is south of Houston. I thought it was like north of Goncourt or something.
That's good. Start a trend.
I think we could come up with it. Yeah, because some people call the south of Pigalle Soapy or Soapy. I don't know what they call it. Has anyone heard that? Soapy. Do French people say that? Yeah. I think we could come up with a lot more than that. Not now. Not when it's being live recorded.
I think that's a great word.
What's that?
Foamy?
Now I don't know how long we've been talking, I have no idea. Anyone? No one has any idea.
Someone's timing this.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to know also if you, Adrian, were to buy a place tomorrow. So this time we know we'll be getting the most honest, raw answer out of you. What kind of areas would you be looking around at?
Well, I'm so married to the Marais.
You are?
I know, I'm so... it would take a crowbar to get me out of there.
What is it about the Marais that you find so attractive?
I am not different from anyone else. Everyone I know loves where they live. So wherever you live, you make a home, you get to know the merchants, the neighbors, you get to know the streets, and you feel comfortable, and that's why you love it.
Good answer.
So true.
You know what we haven't talked about yet, ever? Since we've done a lot of shows, we've done these blog shows and stuff.
I'm in for it.
House Hunters International. Has anyone here watched it?
Yeah.
So, in Australia, I'd never seen it. I'm not sure. Maybe it started showing there afterwards. But this show is like I think it's the 8th biggest show in the United States.
Pretty popular.
8th biggest show. For anyone who's got no idea what it is, maybe you can just explain it a bit, and then we'll talk about it.
It's a reality TV show where...
So you're a reality TV star. You're like the Kardashian.
Just like that.
Kardashian in a beret.
Where's the champagne?
Yeah, it's a reality TV show that's put on by the HGTV network. And originally it started with just House Hunters, and then they added House Hunters International later, and so they go all over the world. And there's always what they call a contributor. So it's a person or a couple of some sort that are looking to either rent or purchase. And then there's an agent who takes them to 3 properties, and they visit the 3 properties, and then at the end they have to decide which one they're going to rent or buy. And I'm the agent.
So you've been on more in terms of this show, that the agent or the sort of middle person that helps them out. You've been that person more than anybody else.
Yeah,
on that show.
I'm about to film my 33rd show.
Is that right? What I think is really cool about it, because it's kind of like if you haven't seen the show or you don't watch it, it's not a very tangible thing you can understand until I actually walked down the street with you. We were filming one of these walk shows where I've got the live camera and we're walking around the street, and some guy just came up and just stopped you, even though we were filming.
He didn't care.
He didn't care. And he just went, "Hey, you're that." He was American.
You're that lady.
You're that lady after you were wearing your beret as well. And you said that happens a lot, right? Like an everyday kind of occurrence.
Almost, yeah.
So what's that like?
Fun.
You're a celebrity.
It's fun.
You're a celebrity in Paris.
They're sweet. People are great. They love the show.
And is that it's not a kind of annoying thing to be stopped on the street?
No.
So if any of these guys were to see you on the street, stop you?
Sure. Why
Say
not?
hello.
I'll say hello. I'll say hello to anybody.
Yeah. So what's it like being a reality star then?
Real.
Yeah.
I don't know. I certainly don't think of myself as a star. I just do this thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you're filming, okay, you've got a cameraman, a sound guy, the fixer, and a director, and you're just, you know, and the contributors. So you're just in this contained place, and it's not like you feel like there's an audience like this of people watching you at all. It's kind of very intimate, and it's easy. And then one day they edit all those pieces together, and
it must be a mammoth job. I was thinking about that editing, because it's lots of shortcuts and lots of. So I'm wondering how much, and this is probably a question you get a lot, but how much of it is like fake, like sort of, you know, how real is it the way we're watching it?
Well, I'll explain how it works.
Please. Yeah.
How do you choose the 3
Good question.
properties?
Thank you for it. That was my next. That was
so,
my next.
Without giving away too much, first of all, you can't really film in real time because you have to have releases from everyone involved, including the city of Paris, to film on the streets or to show a storefront or anything. You really have to have everything signed in advance. So you start with the contributors, and then they already have the property. So it's really a recreation of what they went through. Then the other comparable properties are found in a variety of ways. Either the producers do it, or I do it, or however we can find someone else who's willing to let us go in and film there. And then we just film about 20 hours that reduces down to about 40 minutes of a show.
So 1 hour is 1 minute.
Well, and they spend about 5 days filming to end up with a 20-minute show. Right. And then all the bits and pieces get edited together. And sometimes we have 1 camera, sometimes we have 2 cameras, but if there's only 1 camera, then you have to shoot the same scene from lots of different angles so that we can be edited together. So it looks like there are a lot of cameras.
So that means you sort of find yourself, you have to sort of redo the scenes, the dialogue and stuff?
You redo it, but you don't, it's not like scripted. It's really natural. And so it might end up different every single time you do it. And the reactions are real. Lisa Anselmo did a show with me, and she can tell you how it works, too.
That's it.
Did it feel real, Lisa?
I have to say that of course I already have my property, but it's like you forget that it's not really happening to you, and so you see the apartments for the first time, and that's very real. So your reactions to those apartments are genuine.
That's right.
And and they do a really impeccable job of trying to be as truthful to the truth as possible, and so you just get swept away in it, and you forget the cameras are there. And
she wanted to buy a different apartment than she bought.
Now, how did that? Is that something that? Are you getting good?
Yeah.
Was that your doing?
It's just, you know, it happens sometimes. The comparable properties are even better than the one the contributor brings in.
Do you have sort of any memorable apartments from that? Didn't you do one in the, you know, down in the that sort of oldest house in Paris? Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah,
I'd love to know what you said. Was that in
Lisa's show we filmed there, and I filmed in that building.
Hang on, so people know which one we're talking about.
We're talking about the building on Rue François Mitterrand. That is one of the 3 oldest buildings in the city.
Right down the fourth near the Seine River.
Right, exactly. Right behind Hotel de Ville.
Right.
And we filmed Lisa and someone's show there. I filmed a tiny house show there with my daughter and my niece. And we have some people in the audience that are considering purchasing.
In that building?
Yeah. It's really rare to find a property in that building. It's really special.
But can you tell us a little bit about the building? So this building from the outside, when you look at it, it's got, Colombage.
Which is Tudor.
Yeah, so it's the big wood sort of crosses.
15th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
But on the inside, is it the
gorgeous.
same?
It's no, it's great because it was 2 buildings that were combined, so it's number 11/13. And there is an elevator in it, which is amazing. Oh, yeah.
When did they put the elevator in? Probably not the 15th century.
Not that long ago. But so it's been contemporized. The interior is in very beautiful condition. It has a balustrade kind of stairwell with tomette tile. It's lovely, and the location's fabulous.
Cool. Have you been inside the other 2 oldest houses?
I have been inside, yes, I've been inside the one on Rue Volta. I've looked in an apartment in that one. You know where I mean?
No, where's Rue Volta?
Corner of Rue Volta and Rue Omer in the 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And the other one is the Nicolas Flamel house, and there's a really good restaurant.
That one
on
I
Rue
know.
Montmorency.
That one. So if you guys don't know that one, down in near the Centre Pompidou, right? Yeah. So if the restaurant out the front has so it's Nicolas Flamel's old house.
I got the sign. You know what that is?
No.
Other than victory or peace?
What is it?
2 minutes to go.
2 minutes to go. I was going to say that building, Nicolas Flamel, who was this alchemist, or said to be an alchemist, and now the restaurant in the bottom of it, he was in all these Da Vinci Code and Harry Potter and all this stuff, and now the building that's got a restaurant in the bottom of it has a Harry Potter kids menu. Isn't it?
Oh, that's cute.
So it's like the oldest house in Paris, and you want to look at it, it just looks amazing, and then it's...
Well, there's a little bit of a war between those 3 buildings. No one's really sure which one's the oldest.
Yeah, and what do you think? Which one would you...
Whichever one you saw.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to finish this show with a quickfire round, where I'm going to ask you 5 questions. We haven't discussed it. I don't know which questions. And the rule is that you can't say the things near your house, because I know that's what you're going to do.
The things near my house?
It has to be at least half a kilometer away from your house.
Okay.
So which... if you had to spend a picnic in a park in Paris, of your choice, any park.
Oh goodness. Now, you know, I would say Place des Vosges, but you told me not to do it close to my house.
Straight to
Luxembourg Gardens.
Luxembourg Gardens in the 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Gorgeous.
What's so good about it?
It's just gorgeous,
Yeah.
formal. Yeah. Especially around the Fontaine de Médicis.
Is that the one down?
The fountain.
Yeah.
The coolest spot in town at the time.
Okay, good answer. I need a restaurant recommendation for dinner on a Thursday night.
Let's see, today is Wednesday or Thursday?
Yes, for tomorrow. For tomorrow night.
Oh, that's another tough one. You know how many restaurants I know?
Thousands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you have to say one. It can
Next
be.
place you would go.
Well, I go to the same restaurant every day.
You can say it.
Charlotte, Cafe Charlotte.
Cafe. In which one's that? In the 11th? No.
No, block away from it.
Ah, yeah.
No,
Okay.
that doesn't.
No, it's alright. Cafe Charlotte. 3 more questions. Favorite? If you had to spend a day, this is one of my favorites. If you had to spend the whole day in an arrondissement that's not the 3rd or the 4th,
Where would it be?
which would it be? Yeah, and why?
Another really good one. Oh, I see I'm doing a circle.
Yeah.
You know, 18th.
18th. Why?
Montmartre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you spend a lot of time there?
No, that's what I would want to do.
To explore.
But I'd have to get really in shape.
You take the metro and you start at the top.
Start at the top and work down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, two more questions. One thing that's a tourist trap you wouldn't recommend for a tourist?
The restaurant Chartier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Food's terrible.
Do you guys notice the restaurant Chartier?
Yeah.
So for those who don't, it's the one that's
on
Faubourg
Montmartre.
And it's kind of cool that there's a queue, a line to get in there.
Always a line to get in, and the interior is really great. You know, it's sort of like the French.
And they write the bill by hand, and they do big mathematics on the table.
But the food's terrible.
Food's terrible. You heard it here. Last question.
I don't do Chartier.
Last question is best way to spend your last hour in Paris before you move away for good.
Wow. Indulging on a baguette, butter, and cafe creme at cafe.
There you go. Nice. Okay, we'll put your hands together. Thanks to everyone for watching back home, all over the world. I know there's people in Australia watching now, in America. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.